Today, we're going to break down the absolutely ambitious reinvention of a Japanese industrial giant, Sekisui Chemical. We're going to explore how they plan to double in size, not just by making products, but by tackling some of the world's biggest challenges, everything from climate change to aging infrastructure. But let's start with a really big question, a question that sits right at the heart of this company's transformation and might just change how we all think about energy. So here's how we're going to walk through Sekisui's journey. First, we'll get to know this industrial giant and the global pressures forcing it to change. Then, we'll dive right into their bold plan for reinvention and the game-changing solar technology that's at its core. And finally, we'll look at the massive stakes involved and what this whole pivot could mean for the future of capitalism itself. Okay, let's dive right in. To really get where Sekisui is going, we first have to understand what it is today. A quiet but powerful giant of industry. For decades, Sekisui Chemical has been a cornerstone of Japan's economy. You can think of them as a quiet giant, right? A super successful corporation whose products are literally all around us, from prefabricated homes to the high-tech plastics inside our cars and electronics. And their business? It's incredibly diverse and really profitable. This table gives you a quick snapshot of their 4 core segments. Just notice those healthy profit margins in areas like high-performance plastics and life science. These are the stable, cash-generating engines that are going to fund the company's ambitious leap into the future. So if everything's humming along so well, why change? Well, because the world itself is changing, and it's presenting a whole new set of problems that the old way of doing business just can't solve. The pressures are coming from all sides. You've got the climate crisis, which demands a fundamental shift in energy. Infrastructure that was built a generation ago is literally crumbling. Key markets like housing in Japan are shrinking. And, on top of all that, volatile material costs make predictable profits a constant battle. For a company like Sekisui, standing still is probably the biggest risk of all. So how does a company built on 20th century success pivot to lead in the 21st? Well, it all starts with a radical new vision for what a corporation should even be. And the answer starts right at the top. The CEO, Keita Kato, his message is crystal clear. Don't get comfortable. He's instilling what he calls a healthy sense of crisis to drive the company towards its Vision 2030. And this isn't just an update. It's a complete reinvention. They're shifting their entire corporate identity. They're going from simply being a manufacturer to becoming a social issue-solving company. And the core idea here is pretty profound. Instead of just selling pipes, they want to solve water scarcity. Instead of just selling building materials, they want to create energy-independent communities. You see? They believe the biggest business opportunities actually lie in solving humanity's biggest problems. Their roadmap to get there is called Drive 2.0. It's a really pragmatic 3-part strategy. First, make the existing businesses even more profitable. Second, and this is the absolute key, use that strength to create entirely new business pillars based on solving those big social issues. And third, embed sustainability and good governance into every single thing they do. Now, this slide is where it gets really interesting because it shows they are absolutely putting their money where their mouth is. This is their portfolio management matrix. They've sorted all their businesses into 4 categories. The key takeaway? They're funneling over 60% of their investment capital into the growth driver and growth expectation quadrants. This means they're using the profits from their stable businesses to bet big, really big, on the future. Okay, this brings us to what is, for me, the most exciting part of this whole strategy. The hero technology that makes this entire vision tangible and, yeah, potentially world-changing. We are talking about perovskite solar cells, or PSCs. And let me tell you, this is not just a slightly better solar panel. No way. It's a completely different approach. A thin, flexible, lightweight film that generates electricity from light. Just look at this comparison. Traditional silicon panels are heavy and rigid. They need strong, flat surfaces, which really limits where you can put them. But Sekisui's perovskite film is about 10 times lighter. And get this, you can literally bend it. That flexibility, that is the game changer. All of a sudden, countless surfaces are now potential power plants. The roofs of older buildings that could never support heavy panels, boom, now they can. The entire vertical face of a skyscraper, even curved surfaces like highway sound barriers. Think about school gyms. They're often used as emergency shelters during disasters. Now they can generate their own power, making sure the lights and communications stay on when the grid goes down. It's incredible. So the crucial point here is their plan to scale this thing up. This is not a science experiment. By 2030, they're aiming for 200 billion yen in sales, a cost target that competes directly with grid electricity. And they believe their own special sealing technology gives them the edge on durability, which, by the way, has been the Achilles heel for this technology until now.
A vision this bold needs equally bold targets and a very, very clear-eyed view of the risks involved. Success isn't just about innovation, right? It's about disciplined financial execution.
The top line number is just staggering. By 2030, Sekisui is aiming to double its total sales to 2 trillion yen. That's the scale of ambition we're talking about here. But it's not just about getting bigger, it's about getting smarter. This chart shows a key financial metric. Their return on invested capital is higher than their cost of capital. So in simple terms, for every dollar they invest in their business, they're getting more than a dollar back. It's a clear sign that their growth strategy isn't just ambitious, it's also financially sound. And this brilliantly illustrates how they're fueling that smart growth. They're not just working harder, they're working way smarter. By using AI and machine learning in something called materials informatics, they've been able to accelerate parts of their R&D process by up to, wait for it, 900 times. A 5-month design process is now down to just 4 hours. Of course, the path forward isn't without significant risks. A slowdown in the global EV market could impact their plastics division. Raw material costs are a constant threat, and hey, they are not the only ones racing to perfect technologies like perovskite solar cells. Execution is going to be everything. Which really brings us to the bigger picture, doesn't it? Sekisui's journey isn't just about one company's strategy. It represents a powerful, emerging idea for the future of business itself. And it leaves us with a final provocative thought. Is aligning corporate strategy with solving our biggest global challenges the most profitable and maybe the most important form of capitalism for the 21st century? That's our look at Sekisui Chemical's bold reinvention. This has been The Explainer. Thank you for watching.